Well, everybody, Christmas is just a few days away, and perhaps you and your loved ones are looking for some light seasonal reading to enjoy around the fireplace as you wait for Santa. In which case, I would recommend that you take a look at the 845-page long formal final report by the House January 6th Select Committee, which was released last night. Now, we know that they met on Monday, the Select Committee, to recommend formal charges, criminal charges against former President Donald Trump to the Justice Department. Because, of course, as we know, Congress doesn't have the authority to slap cuffs on Trump or really anybody and charge them of anything. That's the purview of the executive branch and specifically the Department of Justice. And we know the Justice Department is already doing that, and they're already formally, aggressively investigating the January 6th insurrection, as well as the illegally kept documents at Trump's home in Florida, right? They have a special prosecutor, Jack Smith, who's looking into this. It's a big deal. But the formal criminal charges weren't the only thing of note on Monday and in this report. And I wanted to draw special attention to 11 recommendations that the January 6th Select Committee made in this 845-page report. So in addition to the formal charges, they recommend banning Trump from office by employing the 14th Amendment. The report recommends implementing the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which bans those who have engaged in an insurrection or aid in comfort to the enemies from holding office. Now, there are multiple recommendations. Again, there are 11. One, for example, is pass the Electoral Reform Count Act, or the Electoral Count Reform Act, rather. And as we discussed, that is part of the $1.7 trillion omnibus bill, primarily designed to fund the federal government through September of next year. It passed the Senate yesterday. It's on its way to the House. It'll probably pass the House because the House is still, until January, run by Democrats. So even if no Republican votes for it, they have the votes to pass it. So one of the recommendations is well on its way. But the fourth recommendation is ask Congress to create a formal mechanism to bar individuals from future office using the 14th Amendment. Now, as a reminder, the 14th Amendment was passed was ratified in 1868, so 3 years after the conclusion of the Civil War. It was one of the Reconstruction Amendments designed to address the lead-up, the duration, and the fallout of the Civil War and hopefully prevent future, civil wars and rebellions. And Section 3 of the 14th Amendment says that no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or in any state, after having previously taken an oath of office, if they have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. So this is a big deal. And I don't think, as far as I'm aware, we've never seen the 14th Amendment actually enforced via Congress. Now, again, Congress doesn't really have enforcement mechanisms, but Section 5 of the 14th Amendment does empower Congress to enforce the 14th Amendment, right? Not to necessarily rely on the executive branch or the judicial branch. It says the Congress shall have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. As far as I'm aware, and apparently as far as, the January 6th Select Committee are aware, and they're sitting congressmen, so they would know better than anybody, there's really no formal process by which to do this. So in their report, they say congressional committees of jurisdiction should consider creating a formal mechanism for evaluating whether to bar the individuals identified in this report, which includes Trump as well as other Trump allies, under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment from holding future federal or state office. The committee believes that those who took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution and then on January 6th engaged in an insurrection can appropriately be disqualified and barred from holding government office, whether federal or state, civilian or military, absent at least two-thirds of Congress acting to remove the disability. So two-thirds of Congress can vote to allow someone who did engage in insurrection or provide aid and comforts to the enemies of the state. They can allow them to hold office. I don't know why the hell they would, but we've seen crazier things, I suppose, in this political climate. So, yeah, this is a pretty big deal. In this, politically divisive situation, I'm not sure how that would happen or, which Republicans, if any, would be on board with this. or what the potential for abuse would be. Because at the end of the day, as we've seen, not just in terms of local, state, and federal law, but also with respect to the Constitution and ancient norms like the peaceful transfer of power, the fact of the matter is you can't bad faith proof our government. No government, no system of governance can be immunized, I guess I would say, against bad faith actors. It's all predicated on good faith, not only from the public or the majority of the public, but all or the majority of the people in power, right? The Constitution is not self-enforcing. It's not a Harry Potter document. It's not the deal signed by Ariel in The Little Mermaid. It's not a supernatural contract. People still have to read these words, interpret them in good faith, and enforce them in good faith. So I don't know what it would look like, some sort of formal mechanism. Obviously, there are a gazillion legal, historical, and constitutional experts who could collaborate there. But obviously it would require Republicans in Congress to get on board in good faith. And I'm sure you would have a few, particularly in the Senate. Even again, Mitch McConnell, of all people, would probably get behind it or could be persuaded to get behind it. But given that the Democrats are about to lose their majority in the House, and House Republicans, as we've discussed time and again, are far crazier at the moment than their Senate Republican counterparts, I doubt something like this is going to happen anytime soon. You would need both chambers of Congress to be on board. House Republicans definitely won't be. And even if they were, there's no telling what it would look like. Just remember, at the end of the day, no matter what, this governance and this Constitution, our entire way of life, requires good faith, reciprocal good faith from the participants. And that seems to be in short supply. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, and I hope that you did, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe. Also, my link tree is in the description below, so if you have a sec, go ahead and share the love on all my social media accounts. Also, if you want to express an opinion, eternal devotion, or undying contempt, go ahead and leave a comment, because we're always looking for feedback. And on that note, I look forward to pondering politics and pop culture again with you very soon.